guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Octopus Kraken OCT-011. So I purchased this watch from watchdives.com for $155 during an early bird special. It's always nice to pick up a watch early from Watch Dives. Not only do you get a little bit of money off of the, suggested retail price, but you also get free FedEx delivery if the price is over $150. So that's always nice to see. And you can use this code right here. This is Escape10 to get $10 off your purchase. And if by the end of this review you find yourself wanting to purchase one of these, you can still use that code, but you'll be using an affiliate link. If you use that link, you aren't paying any extra, but this channel will earn a little bit of commission for the sale, and that helps keep the channel going and allows me to purchase these things super early on. So thank you guys so much for all the continued support. I really do appreciate it. The current retail price for this watch is $185 US, and that's before any taxes, VAT, coupons, or discounts. And again, that does include free FedEx delivery. The watch is available in 5 different colorways that you can see on screen now, and I really think they all look excellent. They look really, really good. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire crystal, a screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 100 meters of claimed water resistance, and of course the watch is powered by the Seiko NH35 automatic movement, which is a change from the previous version. So if you guys have been following my channel for a while now, you know that I reviewed the bronze version of this watch about 2 years ago, I think. I remember it coming out around Christmas, and I definitely know it wasn't last Christmas. So yeah, and if you have a better memory, you'll remember me saying that if they made that watch in steel, I would buy it on day one. Well, I did just that, and I have no regrets. I say we get right into this full review, but before we do a quick wrist check for the day. Wearing the Roland, I don't have the model number here, but this is the 1655 Exploring Homage. Really loving this watch. I really haven't taken it off since I got it. You can see their nice thin mid case. A review for this will be coming up, but this I think is the one to buy, guys. It is awesome, excellent, really happy with this watch. Alright, so first things first, we'll get into the dimensions. I believe these are mostly unchanged from the previous version. We've got a diameter of 40 millimeters, thickness of 12.6 millimeters, 20 millimeter lug width, lug tip to lug tip of 47.7 millimeters, and on the supplied leather strap, weighs about 78 grams. So I think the size is excellent. It's 40 millimeters, so it's a little bit bigger than what I typically like to wear. I really like 39 millimeters, but I do feel like this one wears really good, and I think it's mostly because it's got a nice thin mid case here with some decent turn down to the lugs as well. Yeah, I've got no issues with the way this thing wears. I like it a lot. Let's go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist, and as you can see, I mean, it just kind of wears perfect for me. This case shape, the way the lugs slope down, it's very low profile. You got a nice big domed crystal, plenty of inner reflective coating even on that crystal. Yeah, the coin edge bezel with the crown there matching nicely. I mean, it wears so well. Super comfortable. And popping out in as much sunlight as I can find here, you can see there's a little bit of wash out there, but I mean, it's really not an issue reading this thing in real life. But yeah, looking really good with that coin edge bezel. I think it just looks awesome. Looks really good. Not a huge fan of this strap. I think it's a decent strap, but yeah, I think we can do better. So I'm going to go inside and throw it on some straps, and we'll get back to the review. And here we are on one of my favorite straps. This is a suede strap. The link will be down below. This is a camel colorway, and I just think this thing looks awesome on this watch. It just goes really good with that dial color, in my opinion. And someone asked me to throw this thing on a orange silicone strap. So this is just a Barton silicone strap, just one of their normal straps, and I actually think it looks very cool. It's kind of one of those super summery vibes to it. I like it a lot. And lastly, here we are on a sweat pant pass-through strap. This is just one layer underneath the watch there, but it still sits really nice. This dial color is a little hard to pair with certain colors, so your muted colors are going to be the better ones in my opinion. And this one, it looks pretty good. Still not my favorite, but yeah, it does look pretty good. All right, let's go back inside and let's get back to this review. Alright, so let's talk about the case finishing on this. So case is done really nicely. It's a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces. You can see here on the tops of the lugs there, really nice vertical brushing. Got no issues with that. It's nice and clean and crisp. You do have a ever so slight polished chamfer on the edge there. I mean, it's very subtle. You can kind of see it right there. Very subtly done. Nice horizontal brushing along the sides of the case here. And again, just really nicely done. You can kind of see the light play right here. So it's not just straight sides kind of meeting up with each other. There's a little bit of sculpting going on there. And overall, I'm really satisfied with it. One thing that I really like is how this bezel, we'll talk about the bezel in just a second, how the bezel just kind of nestles into the lugs a little bit. You can see it right here. That polished surface on the edge right there kind of disappears underneath the edge of this lug tip here. So really nicely done. You've got a signed crown here, fully polished. It's a nice big crown as well, nice and easy to grip. Got no issues with that. The coin edge bezel is done very, very nicely. Getting up real close here, you can see the detail on it. I mean, I've got no problems with that. You got a nice polished surface right next to the crystal there as well, which kind of hides itself. But yeah, really happy with that. Even finishing in between the lugs is done nicely. Flipping it over to the case back here, you have a solid case back. That coin edge kind of continues on the bottom as well. When you get a side profile of this thing, you can kind of see the coin edge on top and bottom. It's a really cool look, but then they do give you really nice, simple notches to get a tool in there if you ever want to get this off. Simple spec sheet around the outside there. Nothing fancy, nothing offensive. Everything is done really nicely. These bottom edges, they're even honed pretty nicely as well. They're maybe a touch sharp, but it hasn't bothered me on wrist at all. And overall, I am very satisfied with the case on this thing. All right, so let's talk about the crystal on this thing. First, we will test it for sapphire, positive for sapphire, and it is a very nice sapphire crystal. Double domed, box dome, whatever you want to call it. Really, really impressive. Yeah, I've got no issues at all with it. It does have some blue anti-reflective coating on it. Tons of distortion at the edges, but nice and clear in the middle. It just looks awesome. It helps that rehout. You can see there the rehout is almost non-existent on this thing. So it's really nice. They were able to keep a nice thin mid case here, but leave room for the hands there, which I know the NH35 has a high hand stack, but yeah, I mean, it just looks awesome. I got no complaints with the crystal on this thing, none at all. It looks fantastic, especially on this blue model. I think maybe if you had a black or maybe the red one would clash a little bit with the blue AR, but even on the green model that I have, the blue AR is not offensive at all. So yeah, it's just something to note. I think it looks really good. All right, so let's talk about the dial on this thing. We'll get up nice and close and you can see here. So the dial on this is really nicely done. It is a fully printed dial, and it's a mixture of C3 and BGW9. So the numerals are BGW9 and the handset is C3. Also the little, it's hard to, there you go. So the little markers at all the hour markers here, they're little wedge shapes, and then you got a double wedge there at the 12 o'clock. Those are also loomed. The loom on this thing, it's okay. We'll get to the loom in just a second. The handset that they chose for this is awesome. Really, really happy with the handset on this thing. Nice, beautiful cathedral hands, fully polished and nicely done. Perfect size in my opinion. I think they look great. It mimics the watch that it's going after very nicely. You can see the second hand sweeping along, kind of crosses that minute railroad track. Yeah, I've got no issues with it. There is a little bit of depth to the numerals. I don't know if you can even see here. We'll try and get it. You can see on the 12 there, there's a little bit of depth to the numerals, but for the most part, they just look simply, flatly printed on the dial. The branding, Octopus, Kraken, I know some people love it, some people hate it. I'm kind of in the middle. It doesn't bother me at all, and I think it fills out the dial nicely. Yeah, it's a non-issue to me. The dial color on this thing, it actually shows up a little bit more teal than what is showing on my screen here. So hopefully the color is coming across nicely. It's more like that color right there. But you can see it is a fume dial, so it gets a little bit darker towards the edge. And at off angles and stuff, you can see it kind of just looks like almost like a dark blue or maybe a dark teal. So there is a little bit of changing in the color depending on the angle that it's at. I think it's a beautiful dial. It looks awesome. I love the color. It's very summery. It's great. I'm very happy with it. But getting to the Lume, we'll pop up a Lume Shot here. You can see it against a couple other watches in the collection. The C3 parts hang on pretty good. The BGW9 does fade fairly quickly. The hands, they stay pretty solid. They're nicely loomed in my opinion. But yeah, the dial, it does fade a little bit, which is a little bit disappointing. But other than that, I'm pretty okay with the lume on this thing. I didn't expect it to be very good. And it's not something that I'm going to rely on for this type of watch. So I'm happy with the lume on it. All right, so let's talk about the movement in the crown. So the movement inside is the Seiko NH35. So that is a downgrade from the PT5000. You know, I've got no problem with that. They cut the price down. They added minimal thickness for the NH35, and you get in my opinion, a more robust and more usable movement. And I'm really happy with it. Here's how this one is running at plus 3 seconds a day and very minimal beat error. I cannot complain at all about it. Yeah, really happy with the way this thing is working. As you can see here, you got a screw down crown at the 3 o'clock position. Again, nice and big and easy to grip. Absolutely love this thing. Nice pop out from the NH35. First position is hand winding. No problems there. Feels just like an NH35. Second position is a ghost date position, and I can hear the mechanism working back there. So they didn't take the time to remove the date disc or anything like that. Pulling it out to the third position here hacks the movement, and this is where you set your time. Everything functions as it should. You pop it in there, you get solid engagement. And yeah, again, no issues whatsoever. Nice, solid, smooth crown winding there. And yeah, I'm very satisfied with the movement. I got no complaints with it at all. All right, so let's talk about the strap on this thing. So like I mentioned earlier, it is a 20 millimeter strap, and it tapers down to 18 millimeters at the buckle here. You get a really nice buckle. It is fully brushed and signed there with the Octopus Kraken logo. Really happy with that buckle, nice and solid. You got one floating keeper, one stationary keeper, just minimal stitching here, and the stitching is done pretty nicely. I've got no complaints with that. There's no branding on the strap itself. You do have quick release, which is nice to see. It's a good strap. It's one that you're going to want to throw away right away. You know, definitely I've felt nicer straps, but you know, coming on a watch like this, you're going to be able to wear it on the strap. It's not going to be uncomfortable. It's breaking in pretty nicely, and I think it's going to wear pretty nicely. And I think it goes pretty nicely with the color as well. So, yeah, I'm overall satisfied with the strap on this thing. It's just, you know, they could do a little bit better, but for the price range and, you know, watches in this price range, they come with pretty terrible straps. So the fact that this one is decent and that one you're going to want to keep in the collection, yeah, I can't complain about it. All right, guys, there you go. That is the Octopus Kraken OCT-011. Really happy with that one. I've been really happy with the bronze version for about 2 years now, and they've changed almost nothing. I think they've made the case back just a little bit thicker, and that's about it, and that's just to accommodate the NH35. So they dropped the price down. They made it in steel. They made it in some cool colors. I am really happy with this watch. It is absolutely gorgeous. Very, very pretty, nicely done. I know the branding isn't for everyone, but I don't mind it at all, and I'm glad that they're out there making, you know, homages of watches that aren't typically homage. So this is just something a little bit different, even different from the original because it doesn't have a pointer date on there. So yeah, I am overall satisfied with this watch. If you are considering this watch, I say go for it. It is beautiful, it's excellent, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. I think that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.